Hello, everyone, and welcome back to On Location with Gabby and Harvey. As always, I am Gabby. He's Harvey. I think this is the first appearance of Harvey actually on camera for the
That's
very
true.
first
That
time.
is.
So I'm glad that you get to see his face. He will be joining us as the interviewer at some point throughout this course. But enough about us. Today, we have one of my favorite people. She has been an absolute delight to work with throughout all of our kind of filmmaking journey and even like networking journey because so many times it's just nice to know a familiar face is going to be there to network with you. So you can be like, hey, how's it going? And like, let's meet people together instead of doing it completely by yourself. I am, of course, talking about Dianne Wolf. Hi, Diane. How's it going?
Hi guys. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good,
Good.
good, good. Diane is joining us from Vancouver right now because she is a busy bee. So if there is kind of some delay, that would be why. But to give you folks at home a brief kind of overview, Diane, she is an actor, director, writer, producer. She has achieved so much and more. Harvey and I are always baffled and confused why she continues to tap us to work with us. I guess she loves us. Uh, But yeah, so many things you've done. So Diane, I wanted to just ask you, um, how did you kind of get started in the arts, and which of the kind of fields did you kind of first begin in and or fall in love with?
Mhm. Well, first of all, yes, just to confirm, I absolutely love you guys.
Oh, we love you
Thank
My
too.
God.
favorite people. And yeah, so that would tie in with the question. You guys were one of my first contacts in film in Edmonton, right? So how I got into it, it all started getting discovered, I guess, in Asia to host for an anime channel. That's how I found out about the whole production world, and that's how I learned about all of these crazy BTS things, and I wanted to be behind the camera, and I think I kinda knew then that I wanted to be the one commanding the creative aspect of it. But anyhow, come back here, Asian parents, they didn't really support that, more artistic side, so I kinda had to push. I did the whole, 4-year, degree for them, and after that, I explored more, but all I knew was just, creating costumes and stuff from cosplaying, again, in Asia with all that, anime channel, so that's kinda how I got into meeting some people, you guys. One day I saw Arthur, I believe, looking for a costume, maybe makeup person to be on set, and I was just really eager to, have the experience and, uh, whatever it may be, and yeah, you guys gave me my first look into, set life.
Yeah, working with you was awesome, and I was so happy because so many times, like, um, when we do find folks to work with, and maybe you can attest to this, like it's always a game of like, hey, you're super cool, you're great, but I always wonder, what is it like to work with you? Right? And then until you kind of have your first kind of like foray into that, um, you're almost taking a gamble in the hopes of like, I hope your like work is as cool as you are, as friends. Um, did you find, because I want to ask like from the like acting perspective, um, do you find that many times you kind of have to like almost like take a chance on certain folks before you're like, oh yeah, they're great? Or do you kind of do like background research to be like, hey, does anyone know who these people are and who we're working with?
Well, you guys already know I'm neurodivergent, so yes, definitely. Um, I do try to get to know people on the offside before I even meet them, just to have that, I guess, connection right away. Professionally, we're all there for the same reason, but it always makes it easier if you can connect to them on a personal level. And not to sound creepy or anything, but I do try to Google, okay, at least I can, kinda bring it up, "Oh, yeah, I love this work of yours, and I'm a fan of this that you did," and things like that, and I think it makes it easier, because just the same, word travels fast in our industry, and you do hear that, oh, this one's maybe hard to work with, and you kind of want to go into a project not thinking of any of those and, just bring that positive energy, but sometimes you can't help it.
As someone who's neurodivergent, what do you think is your biggest struggle so far when looking for projects?
When working for,
Or sorry, looking for.
oh, looking for, oh, I would still say it's about, being the quota. Sometimes I feel like a quota still that, oh, okay, we need a woman checkbox and we need an Asian checkbox. And, and so it sometimes feel like, especially in the production aspect of things, I still feel like I'm not there to have real input. Rather, I am there because they need someone to be there of, yeah, but I check these boxes. So I think that definitely that. It's unavoidable though. Unfortunately, as much as, we're having more opportunities in representation and inclusivity, it's still kind of like,
Needs some work,
yes, absolutely.
maybe.
No, and that's, totally fair because many times, like, we have, kind of like this similar feeling. We have a phrase for it we call the lather, because it always feels like, you know, like I we use the term lather because like you apply it and like you bubble and like you and it feels like consistently on many applications and such when someone approaches us to be like, can you guys be the post team, can you guys be this, it's never like what work can we do. It
Mhm.
almost feels like, hey, because you are a team of kind of like mixed race folks and everything, having you in on the application would like lather it up to look like, look at the diversity we have. And then many a times we have to ask that question of like, hey, what are we doing besides like being on this application? Like, are we actually doing any work, or are you just using our name likeness to like heighten where you land on the like approval process and things
Exactly.
like that? I wanted to ask you, was there ever a film or short or project that you worked on that was very, like, near and dear to you, kind of as, like, a, Filipino filmmaker?
Mhm. For something that personal, I would actually say, it would still be The Legend of Minnie with you guys because it was the first time I was even able to tell anyone outside of my immediate family, I am this, and I was so grateful that I was very nervous, and I think I just talked to you first, Gabby, with the whole team, right? Because I didn't know how you were gonna take it, because my experiences, once they find out, "Oh, you're ND," I do feel that I get treated differently. It
Mm,
definitely shifts, the relationship, shifts, but I'm very grateful to all you guys that you guys didn't treat me any different, and to
well,
this day, it's just, I think that's the reason why I mesh well with you guys is because it's almost like, okay, you know this part of me that I've always been kind of ashamed to talk about, and yeah, nothing's changed, and you guys are very genuine and authentic, and I really love that.
tears.
I was almost like, "This is great, fantastic." I'm like, because we have worked with neurodivergent folks, we have some on the team itself, and so I was like, "Fantastic." Everyone like, "This is great." It's like one more thing that, like, I was surprised by because, like, the entire time you were like designing the costume, building up the script, going over everything. Um, and I guess from like a presenting standpoint, I would have never like perceived or thought that. So when you shared it, I was like, huh? And it made me kind of go back to like thinking about like neurodivergence and like how, like I don't want to say like with some instances like it's easier to tell and things like that. But like, I definitely like with how articulate and on point and on time and just like immaculate you were with everything. I can say like I would have never have even thought or guessed.
I think that is actually very related to your first question is how everything, got started for me. With acting, I did start taking classes from the Citadel under Leanna Shannon because it's part of my behavioral therapy. And it helped me kind of get out of my shell and just watching people, how they interact, how you're supposed to act. And maybe that's why I also do enjoy acting. It almost comes naturally because technically I act every single day with everyone I meet.
Life is my teacher. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, exactly. So I think so. So that part kind of is an easier transition for me. I still have a really tough time, with newer people that I have to meet because I have to gauge and see, oh, how do I interact with this person? And but once I'm around them at least two, three times, I'm able to see how they talk, how they respond. It gets easier with time and definitely networking. You mentioned that with
Mhm.
the networking, it's always super helpful. I know there's quite a few times that I plan on showing up and I message you, like, "Are you guys gonna show up?" Because I observe people. I observe you guys, how you talk and approach, and yeah, it just makes it easier. It's always nice to have, someone you trust in that area as well. And so I think it's a matter of growing our connections, in film. The more people I'm more comfortable with and I can be myself more around with them, and makes it a lot easier.
no, that's
Mm.
awesome. I'm so glad that you get to observe the very infamous Gabby foot and mouth procedures that happen sometimes. To the folks
Sometimes.
to the folks that don't know, sometimes Gabby speaks before he thinks, so it leads to some very like interesting huh moments. Um, I wanted to ask, do you feel like since kind of you had started to this point that the film space has become more accommodating um, towards folks and these and such, or do you feel like there is a ton more room to grow and things like kind of haven't shifted as much as you'd like to see?
Mhm. I'd say both. Definitely seeing way more opportunities and, even in applications, they have a spot for that now for invisible or visible disabilities, which is nice. And they always ask about accessibility requirements and things like that. But at the same time, I think so much more can still be done that again, it in person, I think it's more in person that people, even though more people are aware, it's still not applied in person,
The word action doesn't really like
encapsulated.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
On paper, we say we need more like accessibility, we need to do more, blah, blah, blah. And then in practice, when the asks are like more patience, more reliability, more communication, take it easy because I need ABC. Then folks are like, "Ah, I understand, but like they're almost unwilling to get out of their bubble or zone to accommodate. I guess that's what you were trying to say, both of you. Am I wrong? Did I articulate it better or worse?
You
Yeah.
you articulated it longer.
Thank you. I will reel it in. I appreciate that.
But
Yeah.
no, you're right though. I think it's
Mhm.
that similar feel, and I don't know if it's like people getting out of their box, but it's more like there's just not as much personal experience that everyone has with so some more time, maybe people would put it into practice better. Going back to film stuff,
Yeah.
when we did do Legend of Minnie and you finished that, did you feel um, that it helped you express yourself differently and tell people and, like, find that confidence to tell people that you are ND?
Mhm. Absolutely. Because a lot of our, film peers that watched that didn't, well, I mean, it wasn't actually obvious, but they didn't clue on that I played the part because I am actually. So because I had a conversation with someone who's like, oh, yeah, why did you make the choice to play it instead of, hiring an ND actor? And so like, oh, it's because I am. So
Ta-da!
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
and
guess
then so kind of the same thing that you guys said, like they're like, oh, then they were apologetic. And I'm like, no, no need. And he's like, because I would have never guessed. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And so that's what I was hoping that we showed with the short, right? That not everyone though would have that same look, and you can be judged of how the boss was reacting to how she's interacting with her, and I was hoping that we were able to send that message out. So definitely, Harvey, after releasing that, it was a lot more comfortable for me
mm,
to say to people that, oh yes, and I share the short still to people to this day.
I wanna say that, like, while working with Fascination Film Festival peeps, just to tie this all in together, um, many, because I got to help with the programming and watching some shorts and everything, I feel like I saw a lot more, Asian creators be more open to the concept of talking about how difficult either, like, being an artist is and, like, sharing with your parents, um, or just like I want to say the difficulties of having very traditional parents, like especially like you're a first generation, even like second, like that like it's very hard because many of the films portrayed this whole concept of like, well, we don't do this, and that's not how we do this back home, and that's not how we do this like, and in our culture and in our like, and you can insert whatever you want in there, and I felt like I was very, like, attached to them because that was my feeling when I came here of, like, at one point, like, I want to, I guess, acclimatize and adapt to now being in Canada.
Mhm,
But on the other side, I do love facets of my culture and everything, like, but then it's very, like, people get very disturbed or upset. You're like, "There's also facets I do not like, facets that, like, I could do without." Um, do you find, um, that with many of kinda like the newer films, everything, like, when they share and highlight that, like, what is that conversation kind of like? And, um, being that, like, you said, Diane, that you went from, like, I'm gonna say just because you quoted it, Crazy Asian Parents to now being a parent yourself, is that something that you're always kind of thinking of with bringing up kind of your children? Of, like, how do I just blend
mhm.
the traditional and the modern and, like
Absolutely. It's always in my head, it's so difficult finding that balance that I didn't like how my parents did this. But, my sister always calls me out because I tend to do the extreme opposite. Just a quick example, for example, they make whatever food they wanted, whatever it is, whatever or like nannies made, we get to eat it. We don't get to complain. We don't have nothing. Plop it in your food. You don't want it. Oh, too bad. You go to bed hungry, or you sit there and finish it.
Mhm,
Um, but for me, I'm like, oh, giving all the kids all these options. Oh, you have this and this and this and this and that. You know what? They turn out to be so incredibly picky that I was just telling my sister the other day, I get so frustrated. They have so many options, and yet they go, we don't know what to eat. And then she goes, well, yeah, this is because of you. You realize that because you didn't have that kind of clear boundary that yes, you have
mhm,
options, but this too is what, as a parent, this is what you're gonna get. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. So I have a lot of that moments where because I experienced this, I want to make sure I don't do that. But I'm really struggling to find that balance. It's super hard as a parent, and especially now I'm my daughter's almost 13. I'm almost gonna have a teenager. I'm really struggling with that.
This is like the premise of a certain movie almost, yeah, but, like
Yeah, absolutely. And I raised them to be kind of like the opposite of me. That I want them to just speak up, and I won't. I want them to express themselves, and it's not talking back because maybe you guys have the same experience with our parents or the more traditional parents. I can't even explain myself. Any word that comes out of me is, oh, you're being disrespectful. You're talking back, even when I just want to give them my side and explain how I feel or how this made me feel. No, 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 zip, zip, zip. That's your elder, that's your parent. No. So I'm trying to give them that. And I know more and more because she's expressive and I love that about her because I wasn't able to do that at the same time. We're butting heads because of it. And oh my goodness. So it's definitely always thinking of that. And I guess, it definitely translates into projects too that I'm trying to do is just finding that balance. Oh yeah, this is what my parents expected me though of me, but I'm still trying to find me, the me in the middle, and how I want this to be, how this will affect my kids because they're growing up and all.
But how do you find that, balance between being a parent and then also trying to be a filmmaking producer, writer, and everything else? Do you struggle with that a lot, or
For sure. Geez, guys, you're asking very loaded questions.
that's what we do here. We promise to be relaxed. It's not.
Yeah, it's not
It's super hard. If I'm gonna be honest, I felt like, again, you know, Matt and I will be married 15 years this June, and I feel like at this point that I'm finally gaining this traction in my career that I want to be selfish. As an individual, I want to be selfish and say, I want to move everyone permanently. And so I'm closer to film hubs because now it's time for me to be selfish because I gave, the first 15 years enough to building a family. I want it to be about me now, but at the same time, like, oh, but she's in junior high, her friends are all here. And I know how important that is for that age. And same goes, they love their grandparents and they're here, and I can't move everyone with us. So it's super difficult that so I'm making do at this point. I'm flying around everywhere where there's work. I'm following where the work is and still coming back home, and that's literally what it's like for me right now. I feel like I'm being torn in all these places. I want to follow it. I feel like too I try not to think about it this way, but sometimes it's hard not to. That, oh, if I was in a bigger film hub, how much further would my career be right now? Because this is what I achieved just by kind of, being 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door. And I try not to focus on that. I talk to my therapist about that because I do not want to be resentful about choosing my family and being mom because that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, um, but it's very, very difficult. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like we like, Abby and I definitely have had those, like we try not to, but because they're not as we're not parents, but we still have some roots here, like, we still have family here, so we still find it like, we'll sometimes think, like, "What happens if we were, in a would we be further along if we were in a bigger film hub?" But it's tough,
Mhm.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I will chime in, like, I often have less of family in, like, Toronto that I go visit, and every time I'm there, I end up kind of, like, interacting, meeting, networking because I'm like, well, I'm in a whole different hub, right? And it's fascinating because I'm glad you brought up Dan, like, I've even had the thought of, like, what if I just moved everything here? Would I
Mm,
progress further? Would I do better, jump higher, run faster? Like, like all of the, promised things. But at the same time, it's like, but I do love the folks and the people here.
mm,
And all respects to Vancouver, Toronto. I feel like outside of like filming, working, it would feel like blech because I don't have like my people. I don't have the place I grew up in. I certainly do love where I am and the people around. I just always had this like bizarre wish of like I wish it was a hub, but if it was a hub, maybe it would change. And and that's why I feel like folks are always trying to make it a hub. And I wanted to tie this into like you know good friend of all of us, Martin, and yourself. You're kind of doing this very interesting thing of, like you're flying out to the work, you're flying out to get your credits, and kind of like, I don't say like check marks in order to get your like permittee statuses, full memberships, be it like through Actra for him, yourself, DGC, so on and so forth. Um, what would you say to folks who are kind of, say they were like bloop, dropped into Edmonton, they're looking to kind of act. Not all the things are being filmed here. What advice would you kind of give them so they could kind of join the union and elevate and go on to be called to do all these films? Because many people don't know this, and if you folks don't know this, quick explainer: if you are aiming to be on any professional film sets that will be shown in theater, you must be part of the actor union in order to do so. Um, as much as like be nice to think otherwise, that is the reality. So Dan, like, what would you kind of share with them?
Yeah, I would say start by finding your people. Build that community because that's the only way you can get yourself out there. Start. We all start from somewhere, right? How I built mine was volunteering on set and taking these exposure bucks.
Oh yeah, e-bucks. We know those ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all know this as creatives. And, yeah, if find your people you guys, again, collaboration. I have, I tell people this to this day. I have no problem doing unpaid collaboration as long as everyone um, gets elevated from it,
Mm.
and it's not like a one-sided exploitative thing. So there's a lot of, unfortunately, exploitative projects out there. I'm not going to name people, but but there's a lot.
That's
Um,
the other the podcast we know. Just like
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but there's at the same time there's so much more in this community that just help lift you up. So find those people, and you be able to slowly build your resume because resume is the most important part before you can even get an agent to submit you more. I guess let's organize it. So find people to work with, volunteer so you can get credits. When you get your credits, build your resume. When you build your resume, put your demo together. And with those, you're able to find a very reputable agent who will now submit you to more reputable work.
Oh, beauty. You broke it down. Uh,
I should have written that down.
nice. No, it is very interesting. Like, and also want to touch on this. Like, it's a difficult path because like while yes, I agree that doing things for like e-bucks, exposure bucks, as we call them, um, does get you like product, does get you a demo, does get you things to showcase. Like the reality of it too is that like while doing so, it also takes from the fact that like you're not eating and you're not, making the money to, provide for yourself, your family, be it what it may, which can be like oftentimes like it's great to do one or two here and, elevate it. But, with when you start out doing a whole bunch for free, I feel like to me, it helped contribute to the sense of like imposter syndrome.
And we're told as artists, right, that our work isn't that much of value. It's so undervalued. So now, even naming a number before, I was like, ooh, am I worth that? I think it's a very good start to look at union rates so people can see what real time is worth, right? And then look at non-union because again, we're going to work our way up to becoming union. But first, non-union work. There's plenty of information out there now, but back then, for me, I didn't know, so I definitely sold myself short. sadly. I think a lot of us did. So I basically said yes to the first offer, like, oh, this is all we can get. Okay. And then the more time I spent on set and the more I see that, oh, wait a second, these people were, paid this much to make this commercial, and yet they only gave me crumbs. Like something's not right there. So I think it came with experience, and then yeah, having you guys see, like we've talked about this, and so it's like, okay, where do we find this balance of, yeah, we still want to collaborate,
Mhm.
but again, like you said, we have to feed ourselves. So that's why a lot of artists have a full time job and they do arts on the side, because if it was easy to just jump in with our artistic pursuits, we do it right away, but it's not. It's really hard. So again, I guess to support themselves in the beginning, it's not bad to have a full time job, but know your worth, know your value, and don't ever undersell yourself.
Sometimes it is like sticking up and going like, I refuse to unless I get paid this, right? And work will disappear because, people will call bluffs and call, not that, everyone is,
Mhm.
but it's that kind of thing. Like I feel like that's what helps build the self-confidence to say, listen, I'm willing to come on set for this much, and I'm willing to do this for that. And contracts is a big one. Please, for the love of everything, if you are working, even if you're volunteering, contracts is one that I'm like, please have something in writing, for like how you find your own path, journey, and flow. And that's why I always like avoid like no numbers, no like what gear, what do
Mm.
you edit with? I'm like, here's what I've used, and you can feel free to paint how you want, find your own brushes, but like I won't take you to like a affiliate link or like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah. No, but yeah, awesome stuff that you've shared with Diane.
Diane, are you working on anything now? Any new projects currently that you want to share?
Mm. I have that Apple TV series that's coming out. It keeps
You do
saying
an Apple TV series?
2025.
What? Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's called Invasion, and it's my first TV series, and the set was amazing. And yeah, I it should be coming out sometime this year. I keep
Oh
checking
my
it because
gosh.
yeah, there's no date, but it's coming out this year.
What role did you play on it?
Sad?
What role did you play on it or character?
Um, can I say it yet?
That's called the NDA, Harvey, and that's
You
enough
didn't
out of
sign
you.
one. You didn't
Speaking of
sign one.
um, you don't think she signed one for Apple
I
TV?
can tell by her eyes.
That'll hold up in court very well.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as it comes out, it'll you guys will be the first ones. I'll send the link.
Okay,
And
okay.
I'm just in 2 episodes, but it was super fun.
That is so cool.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank
No,
you.
yeah, I was gonna say that's huge, Diane. And yeah, should have faux pas asked anything that you're working on, any projects looking forward to, and also we have a segment where like we give like a 5 year like manifestation thing
Mm.
that you can say whatever you'd like. So I guess yeah, I'll start off with like 5 years from now, assuming money, red tape, bureaucracy, whatever does exist. Where would Diane like to be or be on or help produce, make, shoot?
I would love to have my own production company where we can just do whatever we want and film whatever we want. I think that's what I'm trying to do in Toronto with my mentorship there is learn from this big production company and distribution company, and hopefully bring that back and grow something from there, because that's what I really want to do is focus on projects, not so much, oh, we're trying to finish this application and this and that. No, I think once we establish our brand and show what we can do, it is very plausible to be doing that. So that's what I want is a production company where we can produce all our projects, all our stories, and get out there on our own. And I think as far as dream projects, I've mentioned the Casa Nostra. That's definitely on top. Um What else? Oh, I would love to reshoot Culture Shock because we lost all the footage in that.
Oh,
I'm still
no.
trying to get that remade because you guys were so amazing and the cast was
Oh,
amazing and I it was such a shame and CBC was interested in it.
that
So
is
that I would
Yeah.
love to get that somewhere again. And for a show that I want to work on, well, they moved to Australia, sadly. The Monarch show. I wanted to
Yeah.
be in it. I wanted to be in anything Godzilla.
Yeah.
I can die happy. Even if Godzilla stomped on me, I'd be like, yes, I made it.
Look at me get stomped. Yeah.
no.
Um, no,
Cool.
that's awesome to hear, and, yeah, Godzilla would be a sick one. I definitely, like, loved, Minus Zero, so, yeah, I'm with you there. Anything, even, like, the frame where I'm, like, getting blasted or something would be great.
Right?
Uh, that I wanted to thank you for, joining us. I wanna thank you for sharing so much. I learned so much. Hopefully Harvey did, but that doesn't matter. Um And, yeah, as always, any final thoughts for us?
Oh, thank you for having me. I always, you know more than anyone, Gabby. We message from time to time. It's like, oh, we gotta get everyone back together and just want to work on something creatively with you guys so bad. And no, so thank you. This was very, time flew by so fast. So we really gotta get together and create something. And yeah, no, I think just for your guys' viewers, again, there's no one path to things. I think, as much as there's struggles, I think the payoff is so worth it. And it's so cliche, but when you're doing something that you really enjoy and you love, it doesn't feel like work. I cannot believe 2 months of this year already went by. It was that fast. And so
Oh
just
my
just
gosh.
enjoy the journey. Enjoy every
Yeah.
step of the way. And I think if you're authentic and you stay true to yourself and your goals, you'll see great outcome from it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
As always, this has been another episode of On Location with Gabby and Harvey. As always, I'm Gabby, he's Harvey, and we will catch you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.